back to Cohoes. I drink every night. I can't get my fill. Since General Electric had a chemical spill. They say that won't hurt you, no, it won't do a thing. Get out your tub, there's a radiation ring. Your kids will be born with 6 fingers and toes. Packing my bags, I'm moving back to the hole, yeah. Chemicals in the water and in the air. Hydrogen flames burning everywhere. I looked at your pussy, I heard it bark. Lately I've been alone in the dark. My kids will be born with 6 fingers and toes. Packing my bags, I'm moving back to the hole, yeah. I drink every night, I can't get my fill. Since General Electric had a chemical spill. Said it won't hurt you, no, it won't do a thing. Get out your tub, there's a radiation ring. Kids will be born with 6 fingers and toes. Packing my bags, I'm moving back to the hood, yeah.
Hey, Timmy.
Hey, how are you today?
How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Look at today's an unusual start. We're doing this on a Tuesday. Okay, a little break from the Wednesdays we've been doing this.
Well, it is Christmas time, and we got to get out there and do a little Christmas shopping. So we had to get the podcast up and running, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But hey, before we start, Merry Christmas to everybody. I know we're a little early, but just want to send out all of the great wishes to you and your family, and thanks for joining us here at Truth, Lies, and Political Bullshit. And this is our segment where we call Cohoes the good, bad, and ugly. And the ugly's not just Timmy. We're talking about some of the ugly sides of the city as well.
Right.
But Merry Christmas, man. We all deserve a break, I think. Everybody deserves to have a little bit of good time. So I want to talk about something good in the city of Cohoes because every once in a while there's some good stuff going on, Timmy, don't you think?
Yep. Yeah, there sure is. Basically, let's get right into it. We've got a Santa tour coming on up.
Yeah, there's a Santa Claus tour coming up for the city, and he's got to go around and
Which is the Cohoes Police Escort and the Fire Department.
yeah, you can see
Well, if you go to the city website, they do have it on their Facebook page. You could see the full listing of all the streets Santa will be visiting, and the tour route is a map of the tour route.
I just threw it up there. Let me see if I can throw it up again real quick. Okay, let
Yeah.
me just add it to the scene. You should be able to see it. There's a little view of it. It looks like
Yeah.
it starts at Greenbrier Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
it does. It starts there.
And I don't know if it's clear enough for people to see because it's so small off the city website. But you can go to the city website. You get a chance to see Santa Claus go throughout the city, do some nice things. It's a nice gesture for the city and the kids. So that's something that's pretty good. So pay attention, kids. Ho-hos are coming.
Yep. Pay attention. Get ready for Santa. I think they're going to kick off. They say they're going to kick off at 9:30, but I think they're going to really get going with the parade around 10ish. I think.
Now let's stay with the Christmas theme now because it's really important that we talk about Christmas because see this beautiful card, Season's Greetings. It was a beautiful card that was just sent out to 400 people from the mayor of the city and his staff. And we want to thank him because it's the second year in a row that the mayor of the city of Cohoes decided to send out thousands of dollars of Christmas cards with his name on them. But you paid for it because they sent it out with taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
So
400 cards, and let me just give the details, okay? These cards were ordered on November 28th. Now, do you know what happened on November 28th, Shawn?
Yeah, I think Santa Claus dropped $20,000 in the lap of
Yeah,
Bill Keeler.
Billy Keeler got his stocking filled. Okay, when Billy McCarthy brought him into the mayor's office for to do a little vote grooming. Okay, so he'd go in and abstain on the 28th, and then he got his stocking filled with a $21,000 raise. Okay, then the same day they went and ordered his 400 cards as another gift. Okay, so the cards got ordered. They got shipped to the city on December 7, delivered on December 8. And here's what happens. Councilman Smith sends an email and says, hey, when did those cards get mailed out? And they said, no cards got mailed out. Well, that was true, but it was really evasive because they had the cards in the office. They just didn't have the time to throw the postage on and stick them in the mail.
So basically, what you're telling me is that they just lied to Billy Smith.
Yeah, and look it. Did you get a card? I know I didn't.
Well, I certainly didn't get a card.
Adam
Did you get a
Biggs,
card? Anybody
no,
out there
not
listening get a
me.
card?
I know that if Sean Van Sleet's listening, he's going to be furious because he didn't get the FOD card. Now he didn't get a Christmas card.
I don't know, but my buddy Donnie Gibbs said, "Merry Christmas, guys. LOL. I'd listen to you 7 days a week." Does that mean you didn't get a Christmas card,
I
Donnie?
guess.
Because I can't believe that they would send you a Christmas card. But hey, you never know. You worked your ass off and made the Cohoes Intermediate League something special again. So big shout out to you for that. But I doubt you get a Christmas card. But hey, listen. So in the city of Cohoes, we are a struggling city right now. Everybody knows that. If you walk down the street, you'll know that there's a lot of struggles going on. But the mayor found it in his heart to spend your tax dollars to send you a Christmas card, or let me take that back, send his friends a Christmas card.
400. Now, Sean, that's down from last year, which was 500. Okay, he sent last year, so this year 400. You know what that means? 100 of his buddies there went to the naughty list.
Well, they must have told him they weren't voting for him, and he's a vindictive prick. So if you
Right.
if
Or
he
they
doesn't
he
if you
might
do
like
something that he don't like, he's going to come after you.
yeah, maybe he got a hold of the write-in list during the election.
Well, hey Timmy, all I can tell you is this, right? We know that the city's having some problems because just the other day,
Mhm.
right, there was a huge fight, a bunch of kids. And when you say kids, I think they're 16, 17, 18 years old. There's about,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't even count how many there were, but I know they had to call Green Island in
I'm told they're
because,
15, something
yeah,
like that. One was
15,
arrested.
20 kids fist fighting
Mhm.
in the streets. We don't have enough cops. Green Island's got to come over. That's what's happening in the city. And I told you a couple months ago, right? I'm driving down Olmsted Street and there's a bunch of kids and I'm looking at them and, I'm getting older, so I can't tell how old you are when you're a teenager no longer. But I would say they were 16, 17, 18, and they wouldn't get out of my way. So I beat my horn and they turn around. They basically tell me to go F myself. And, I still think, once an old scrapper, always an old scrapper, right? So I
Mhm.
rolled down my window. I said, get out of the goddamn road, kids. I don't want to run you over. And they want to start a fight and beat me up. And I'm
Yeah,
thinking to myself, I think I can at least take about 7 of them. After that, I'm going to run out of gas. And luckily, one of the fathers who happened to know me said, get out of the road. And he came out and grabbed the kids. Otherwise, they would have stayed there until I
yeah.
got out of my car, and I would have got out of my car, and because I'm not going to be pushed around by a bunch of punks.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a basketball court on the end of Olmsted. It's really not a court. They got a basketball hoop there that would be taking a spot for a parking lot. And I'm coming around the corner, and about 4 or 5 kids. Now, these were younger kids, all right, probably, 13, 10, 13. And so I'm trying to come around the corner. And normally, okay, when kids see cars like in my neighborhood coming down, they stop what they're doing and let the car pass. These kids wouldn't. I had to wait for them to figure out when to get out of my way so I could continue down the street.
Well, we have a system in place all across this country. And New York is just like California, right? They're a bunch of morons. This country is run by morons. The state of New York, with their raise the age and bail reform, basically just a free get out of jail card that these kids can do anything they want and nothing will happen to them. And you know what happens, Tim? Now you have a bunch of grown-ups sending the kids out to do all their dirty work, and nothing happens to them until somebody gets killed. And it's got to be somebody who's related to the morons who are passing these laws, because they don't care what happens to you, right? It's sad that you got to wait until somebody gets hurt, and it's got to be somebody that has a connection to them before they do anything. It's horrible.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's
not
the
good.
world we live in. So
Yep.
if you got out of your car, these kids would have had no problem. They would have smacked you in the head. They would have shot you, kicked you. Yeah, I'm not saying that, I'm saying that in jest because that's
Yeah,
what's going on, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying for a fact these kids would do that. But the
Yeah.
kids that got in my way, they would have kicked my car. They were swearing at me. They weren't scared of me. They
Yep.
wouldn't be scared until the first one got smacked in the head. And then I'd get arrested
Yeah.
for trying to defend myself.
Yeah, and that's what it's really come down to. You know, you hear it all the time. You can't even defend yourself in New York. We're not a castle law state. I
Well,
think.
look, we just know that we were talking about it. It was a breaking news at the last podcast that
Yeah.
the guy who was involved in the shooting down on Main Street didn't shoot once, twice, three times, 25, 30 rounds of bullets flying around like,
It's a
like
gunfight.
mosquitoes in the summer night. And he walks on at least on the murder charge,
Yeah, yeah,
and the judge who lets him go is a Cohoes judge.
yeah.
Now,
She
whether
got
or
her
not
start
she,
here from you.
I didn't get no Christmas cards from her either. But
She
Donnie
was on
Gibbs
the,
did
she
say
was on the
baseball
list
got
last
one.
year. You know,
What's that?
she was on the list last year. We'll see.
Oh, she'll be on the list again. They're all a bunch of, I call them political whores. That's what they are.
Yeah, yeah.
They're spending your money to give Christmas cards to political figures and organizations that give him money for his campaign.
Oh yeah, and you know
Okay,
what?
where's
though?
the FBI should be knocking on his door.
That's right. And you know,
Okay.
here's part of the shame of it, Sean. Okay, you got an ethics board that is so corrupt. They don't see the wrong in this. Okay.
Well, there is no wrong to me. You know why? Because they're all part of the same swamp.
Yeah.
They're all
It's
part
true.
of the same swamp. The bottom line is, if you have any couth at all, I sent Christmas cards out, but I paid for them myself. And I bought the rolls of stamps. And I'd lick the stamp, I'd stick it on, and I'd send it out to all the people people that were my friends, people that were my family, people that were donors. Yes, you do. It's Christmas. You send it out.
Yeah.
You're always in the business of raising money, right? You're always in the get reelected
Sure.
mode. But you can't use taxpayers' money to further your political career. He's done it 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and it's even worse than that. Okay, the cards cost somewhere around $750. Okay, probably a little bit less. It's in that window. Okay, and then they raided the city clerk's office where the stamp machine is, and used about $240 in postage there. Okay, and they just stamped through the stamp machine. There's no ledger in City Hall.
No, nobody knows what anybody's doing. You know
Nobody
what?
knows.
If you know what the next person is doing, then you
Yeah.
have to say, oh, yeah, I knew they were doing something wrong. Look, I've been there, done
Yeah.
it, know it back and forth, up and down, sideways,
So
spin
what
it
we did
around.
is we
Been
clipped-
there.
Right, we clipped the taxpayers for 400 cards, then we clipped the taxpayers for 400 stamps. Okay,
It's just crazy.
it's insane. So that's what happened. But I do see that Santa going around is not going down Homestead Street.
Thank you very much. And anybody, just if you want to subscribe, jump on Christmas cards, non-Christmas cards. If you like the show, jump on, subscribe. We do have a bunch of little minor things happening, but here's how you subscribe. Boom. Just simple. Click, bang, boom, hit the subscribe button, join the show, get all the notifications. We appreciate it. It's not easy to do these little podcasts all by yourself. Most people have, production and everything else. We have me and Timmy. And,
Yep.
and it takes a while to set these things up, and it's not easy. And you can see there's some glitches, and we're working on that. You know what? We need more subscribers, because if we get up to 500 subscribers, we're going to have more people offering us the opportunity to do some promotions, give us some money to buy some better programs, and And
sponsors, and then we could
so join, man. It's not that hard. It's not
join,
that hard. Just
subscribe, and
join.
stuff like
Do
that.
me a favor. Join.
Yeah.
How could
Hey,
you go a
Shawn.
week without hearing from Timmy?
Yeah. Look at the a week doesn't go by where I'm not called a name.
Yeah, well, you're either
Look
called
at it's
stupid,
not a
dummy, ugly.
midget.
You're like what is
And those are some of the things my wife doesn't call me. Okay. Well, look at Shawn. Also, while we're at it, we want to talk about the not the block.
Yeah, let me just see if I can find the not the block. There you go,
Yeah.
right? There's the not the block. Unfortunately, we've talked about it at every single podcast, everyone for the last 3 weeks, about how pathetic the city is when it put together these concerts called what? Rock the balls, rock the blocks, rock
Jingle
the
bell,
jingle bells,
jingle,
jingle
rock the
balls,
clock.
whatever.
Hey, I got a message from Smitty. Said he's in Santa suit, ready to come on, but we didn't hear from him.
Schmitty, where are you? Join the show. You got the link. Come on in. Bring your Santa suit on. We want to see Santa. But
All right.
anyway, you can see right here, unfortunately, in the dark of the night, there's somebody up there playing. The city's probably paid him $600 or $700, right?
Yeah.
And there's two people.
Right. Yeah.
And
And those two people got there as I got there.
and if you really want to think about it, I would have to think that the city's now spent upwards of $50,000 in all of these, shit shacks, concerts, rock the
Yep.
balls, jingle, whatever the hell they want to call it.
Yeah.
The city spent upwards of 40, 50,000 of your tax dollars. Between that and the Christmas cards, Christmas in Cohoes has been a failure. And what you got is two people standing in the cold thinking, what's going on here? Am I in the wrong spot? Where's this show taking place?
Right. You
Yep,
had a guy on a cello. You had a guy on an organ, okay, keyboard, and you had a drummer. Those three band members doing the show, and there was two people watching them.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's sad. It's sad. Billy Smith said he didn't have a link to get in, so I don't know.
I could send him a link.
Yeah, send him a link. Let him come
Yeah.
in. Let's see if he's got ho on.
Okay, let me
Donnie
see.
Gibbs, don't leave me out. Hey, Donnie, poor Timmy's like the seven dwarfs. They give him all these names. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want him chasing my ass around, because if he's on your ass, you're in a lot of trouble. And so, you try to come up with some stuff that's good in the city. And I wanted it so bad to be good for the Christmas. I wanted to see Rock the Jingle Balls, or whatever he fat ass calls it. I wanted it to be packed with people. I wanted to see kids singing Christmas carols, hot chocolate, the city decorated for true Christmas. Yeah, great. You put the stuff across Ransom Street. Well, if you're going to have your concerts at the park, why wouldn't you put the park into a position where it'd be something special? Something that everybody would say, wow, did you go down to Canal Square and see that show? What it became is a shit show.
Yeah.
From a guy who shouldn't have a job in the city because he's incompetent, Steve Napier. From a mayor who's stealing your money and then using taxpayer money to send out Christmas cards to make it look like he's a good guy, phony bastard that he is. To fist fights on the streets, to garbage all over the place. Nothing's changed. Nothing's going to change. What you see is what you get. It's only going to get worse. And getting worse is what I'm hearing is happening possibly in the fire department.
And before you get on, we got Smitty coming in there, Shawn. You see him?
Smitty, he's still trying to put a suit on.
Yeah.
Hey, ho, you're blurry too. Get your shit together if you're coming on the show.
Yeah, okay.
Here he is. Ho, Billy Smith. Hey, Billy, how you doing, buddy? I can't hear you. You come on, you're not prepared.
Come on. Yeah, he should have came on as the Grinch.
I can't hear you, so I got to throw you off until you can get on. Tell me when you're back on.
Wait, you know what? He's got his mic muted. There he goes.
Are you on? Nah, you're all screwed up.
It's awful, but hey, fix your mic, Billy.
I'm on.
Oh,
there you go. That's better. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You sound like Ho. What's going on? Tell us a little bit about these Christmas cards that the Grinch sent out that cost the city about
Yeah,
2,000.
Here's did you see
Nah, your voice is all screwed up.
your audio is really
I'm
bad.
kicking you
Dennis.
out until you get better. He's all screwed up. Every time he
Yeah.
comes on the show, he just makes us look bad. Get your
Anyway,
shit together, Smith. Don't come on with Santa suit if you can't even
if you can't be
if you can't
Santa,
jingle your balls the right way and we
Yeah.
can't hear your voice.
yeah.
Still better than Napier's. Yeah,
Yeah, Pat Cat says that still better than Napier's jingle jangle. Yeah,
Jingle jangle, all right.
I guess you are,
The
Smitty.
guy's a jingle jangle. He had a
Right.
pile of garbage 5 foot from his feet and looked like it was a sub wrapper he just threw on the ground.
Right.
You'd think he would have picked up the garbage can. He's getting $85,000 a year.
Yeah,
He's standing there watching two people at the concert that he put on with a garbage can tipped over and garbage all over the street. Let's
Yeah.
give Napier a big round of applause.
Hey,
Good job.
We got Kim. It looks like my sister Kimberly is on the chat.
Does Christmas lights show over the falls now? You know what? I got to be honest with you. God bless Mr. Greco, who I love dearly. He tried for years and years and years to get, the falls lit up. And I tried right along with him because I
Yeah.
really, really wanted to see the falls get lit up. But you know what? There's so much bullshit and bureaucracy just to put lights on the falls. Believe it or not, they told me that it was bad because it hurt the fish's sleeping patterns. I said, how the hell do you know? You under the water with the fish? How do fish sleep?
It
Because the
bothers
lights
the
are on?
fish sleeping pattern as they're going 90 feet over the falls, right?
Oh, it's
Oh,
just,
jeez, come on.
it's just ridiculous. So
wow.
hang on. I think we got Ho-Ho back.
Yeah.
Billy, you back? Ah, there you go. Hey, Santa, how you doing?
All right.
Good to
There
see
you go.
Well,
Hey, weigh in on those Christmas
well,
cards.
let me show you my Brian on the shelf. I don't know if you can
Brian Kremer on the shelf?
see. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, listen. So Keeler gets a $20,000 raise. Nice raise for Christmas, right? And the night he gets the raise, he's sending out Christmas cards that make it look like he's sending them out, like the good-hearted guy he is.
Yeah.
And he's sending them out with taxpayer dollars. Can you tell us about that?
Well, as you guys alluded to earlier, I did send an email to Amanda about, and Lori about did the Christmas cards get sent out, and I probably phrased it wrong. I should have said, do we have the Christmas cards that are going to be sent out? Lo and behold, that they were sitting in her office, and a day later, or 2 days later, they were mailed out to about 400 people, and I'm still again waiting for mine, and which I don't think I'll ever get. But
No,
anyway.
your name wasn't on the list last year, there.
I don't.
And
I
you're Santa.
It's never been on.
Santa Claus got shit. That guy, I would listen when you go down
Yeah.
Keeler's chimney. You better be careful. You may be down at the end of it lighting the match.
That reindeer doo-doo that he's got in his fireplace.
We're paying $760 some odd dollars or $740 some odd dollars plus the postage. It's over $1,000. And again, he got the $20,000 raise. Send it.
Use
Send it
his
to
own money.
everybody.
Listen, if anybody's watching the show who gives a shit, tell me, do you find it to be inappropriate for taxpayers to send Christmas cards out from the mayor's office that makes it look like he's sending them out and he's trying to get kudos for it, both political points as well as votes? But you're paying for it when the bastard just got a $20,000 raise and it's probably got $30,000 in his campaign funds.
Right. Now look at
I find it to be, I tell you the truth, I believe it's illegal, but you're not going to find nobody to
No,
No,
you're not going to fight that, Shawn.
no, I mean, it just
not
goes
on
to
the
show.
ethics board. Now
Well,
they
the ethics
say,
board gets a Christmas card.
well, they say that, it didn't have a religious theme. Well, the ones this year has a Christmas wreath.
What has that got to do with anything?
No.
The more you talk about that ethics board, the more I want to puke. I mean, what the hell has that got to do? It doesn't have a religious theme. What if it had my uncle on it and his balls were cut off? Would that make a difference? I mean, what is the difference? We are so consumed about this. these pronouns and men being women and women being men. The issue has nothing to do with that. The issue has to do with, can I use taxpayers' money to send my Uncle Bobby a Christmas card?
Yeah.
And is that
Or,
okay?
or your biggest donor.
Or your biggest donor, which was
Now-
Uncle Bobby.
And listen to this, Shawn. We got a message from Adam Biggs, and it looks like he is on the naughty list because he didn't get a card.
Well, of course, because he stuck up and told the mayor to kiss his ass because he realized the guy was giving it to him, right? I mean, the bottom line is you can't spend the city's money for your own personal use. And that's what a Christmas card is. You send Christmas cards out from the goodness of your heart, not for the political capital that you gain. If you're sending it from the political capital, then it comes out of your campaign funds. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
So
Very
unfortunately, in the city of Cohoes, we're spending money on Christmas cards. But at the same time, now, I don't know if this is true. This is rumor. But I heard it from great sources that he's looking to now attack the firefighters because the firefighters went after him over the ambulance, and rightfully so. And I'm being told that he may cut them down to 4 guys a day, which would be the lowest in the history of the city, the most dangerous stunt you could ever pull. The guy's a creep. The guy's a moron. I got to tell you something. Is this inappropriate? Santa, can you do me a favor? I don't know if this is inappropriate, but I want to make sure I phrase it right. I would love to do a 3-round fundraising boxing match between me and Mr. Keeler, with all of the proceeds going to your ho-ho, raising the money for the Cohoes firefighters Cheer for Children. It'd be a great 3 rounds that I think would only last about 3 seconds. And it would be me and him, and we'll box in the middle of Lansing's Park. Billy, you'll be the ref.
No, you should box at Canal Square.
We'll box in Canal Square. And I'd love to have 3 minutes with the guy because I think he's a piece of shit. And what he's doing to the firemen makes me sick. But I think look at, I got to do some sit-ups and run a little bit because I don't want to get knocked out and be embarrassed. But it'd be a great fundraiser. Would you pay $10, Bill?
I would, but you got to remember when he walks, he holds his head down so he won't see you coming anyway.
Well, that's why I want to box him. I'm going to give him an uppercut. It's going to be a uppercut on behalf of Cheer for Children. I'm going to raise all the money. We're going to give it to the kids, and I think it'd be great.
We
What do
could
you
call
think?
that would be a
I got about 9
sanctioned
days left, so maybe we can make that happen.
that would be a sanctioned brawl.
Yeah, and I don't think
We
it'd be a
have
brawl.
unsanctioned brawls over near Homestead Street.
Yeah, I think it would be great. You got Billy Smith, who would be the referee. Timmy, you'd ring the bell.
Yeah, I'm a good bell ringer.
You ring the bell, and hopefully I'll ring his bell, and we could raise $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for Cheer for Children. What do you think?
Underneath some of the lights that don't work at Lansing's, yeah, that's great.
Well, that way you won't see it, my left hook coming.
But
Remember, now this is all in fun. I want to do this as a
Right.
fundraiser.
Going back to the ambulance, there was an email sent out which I wasn't on. I don't know how Joe Graves, the city planner, gets involved with negotiations
He's
with
another moron.
the ambulance service.
He's a moron that they got from out of the state, and you know what? Maybe he's good at what he does. Maybe he is. I don't know him enough. All I know is that I sent him an email, and he didn't respond back to me. And he didn't respond back to me for one reason, and one reason only. It's because he's a bullshitter trying to convince everybody in the city that they're saving all this money on these lights. And I asked him a simple question. How can you have a $400,000 a yearly bill that you had to pay to change all the light bulbs? And even though you're getting a reduction in the cost for the light bulbs by $250,000, when you add the 400 and the 200, you're now paying $600,000 for a $450,000 bill that you once upon a time had, and you have to do that for the next 20 years. So tell me where you're saving money.
Yeah.
He's
And
not.
all of a sudden, I got rejected or something because his email died.
Well,
And that's the shit that you get from these people.
Well, we got his personal email now in City Hall, thanks to the generated email list I got my hands on just recently. But
Well,
I had it before anyway.
Well, I just like that. You know, they can't bullshit me.
Right.
They can bullshit a lot of people, but they ain't bullshitting me. And so
Yep.
you can tell everybody how great of a job you're doing. It's like the country right now. All right. I don't give a shit what anybody says. All you got to do is open your eyes, walk outside, go to the grocery store, and you'll know that life sucks for a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? You
No.
know that it's
Yeah.
tough out there. So when Biden stands up there and says Bidenomics is kicking ass, you got to just shake your hand and say, these people think we're so freaking stupid that they could say anything, and all we'll do is march around like a bunch of monkeys off the cliff because that's how stupid they think we are.
Mm.
Santa, you're not that stupid.
I try not
Well,
to be.
he wasn't invited to the reindeer games either. He's
I
off
mean,
the email list.
the bottom line is I look at the country as a whole, but I just focus on this little 4 square miles called Cohoes, and I say, if this place is this screwed up, how bad is the whole country? Because
Yeah.
Keeler just marches to the tune of all these clowns that, in the assembly and the Senate. He's not a leader. I got to be honest with you. I have to rethink my thoughts about the state police. I think the state police officers are the greatest.
Yeah.
The smartest. I got a great opportunity to talk to many of them when I was the mayor. They came to Cohoes. They helped Tommy Ross and Billy Heston and the police department solve some murders. These guys, when you bring them in and mix them with your own department, they're phenomenal.
Mhm.
But holy shit, if this guy was the leader, what is there to lead?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's the leader and you compare it to what he's doing in the city, you don't need. It's a political job.
Hmm.
There's no requirements. What's the requirements? Put on a nice dressed up uniform and go sit behind your desk all day and play the drums with your pencils because you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
He
And,
certainly ain't telling those cops how to be,
yeah.
those troopers how to
And
be
we said it
police.
100 times. Okay. He said we need a public safety commissioner. Okay. Budgeted for it, 70,000 a year. And what happened? That disappeared. Every time you turn around, whatever he gets money for, that disappears. Next thing you know, he's getting huge pay raises.
It's just,
And you're
I don't
right,
know.
as you said earlier. On at the last meeting, we're sitting there and we're waiting. All of a sudden, it's like the three blind mice walk in the room at the same time.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, everybody knew that Donnie Russell, as sad as it is, because I got to be honest with you, man. I from my standpoint, just knowing the guy, I always liked Donnie. I
Mhm.
don't care about all of the bullshit. Look at if he's hitting on 19-year-old boys, that's his business. They're grown up men. They're working in a bar, just like men are hitting on women. I don't care about his sexual orientation. I don't care. I loved his husband. I thought they were just good people. But he always does these little ass things to get himself jammed up. And the way he gets out of the jam, from my view, is then he goes and makes commitments to kiss the ass of Keeler and do what he needs to make sure he's not in a jam. And I don't look at, I'm sorry. People can get pissed off at me if they want to. I don't think Donnie Russell's a bad guy, and I don't think he intentionally goes around. I just think he does shit and thinks, oh, this is no big deal. Like, I got to be honest. I plugged the fucking radio into the power pole once while I was throwing baseballs around with the kids. I plugged it in, so I guess I stole their power for 5 minutes. Those things don't really bother me. It
Yeah, but the
doesn't.
difference
The
here was
permits,
he was renovating. He was
the permits
renovating an
bother me.
apartment. Okay,
The
for a
permits
week.
bother me because everybody needs a permit to do. They're doing putting that big deck that he had that's unsafe. Those things don't fly. I don't care,
Yeah,
Donnie. You can't do those things, and they don't fly.
he even strung a wire, an extension cord across Remsen Street from his house there to Anthony's.
So what's worse? What is worse? Answer my question, Timmy. What is
Yeah,
worse? Him plugging his freaking saw into the light pole, or Billy Keeler spending $4,000 sending out Christmas cards of taxpayers' money?
of course, Killer. Obviously, I would be
Okay, so
more steam with that.
yes, because he's taking real tax dollars. Donnie's plugging in the freaking thing.
Well,
If it cost a half a cent for a month,
Well,
big
here's what it really boils down to, Sean. When you do that, okay, you're not allowed to take more than $75 in what they call a gift. All right, he gifted himself this with a value greater than $75. That's a violation of the city ethics code, even a state's
Listen,
code.
I get it. I
Okay.
get all that bullshit. But what I'm telling you is that no matter what they do, they police themselves.
Yeah,
Nothing
they
will
should.
happen.
They
You know
should.
what
They don't.
happens? Here's what happens. The guy that takes on the establishment, the guy that fights the good fight, the guy that says, I'm getting into politics to make a difference in people's lives, he gets the shit kicked out of him. He gets the team against them, and they're ruthless and they don't give a shit. They'll
Yeah,
kill you. You know when
yeah,
my whole downfall started? When I ran against that fat pig, drunk ass Neil Breslin.
yeah,
The guy who ain't done shit his whole life. Okay? When I ran against him, that my life went down tubes. They were sending all these people after me. They had private eyes following me. They were doing all this shit, everything they could, because I ran against that fat bastard. How dare somebody run against Neil Breslin, the piece of shit guy who's done nothing his whole freaking life?
yeah.
Okay? How
Mhm.
dare it? And
Yeah.
then soon as they had an opportunity to stab me, who do you think stabbed me? Neil Breslin, John McDonald. They capitalized off the worst shit happening in my life. Then they
Yeah,
went with that
help
piece
with
of
the
shit.
media and everybody. Yeah,
Yeah, then they got that piece of shit Cuomo after me. How do you think all this shit happened to me?
yeah.
It happened because I told Cuomo he was the most corrupt governor piece of shit in the country. And then
Mhm.
while they may have got me, he went down too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He went
He
down.
did.
The only thing is he's got $5 million and I lost everything I ever had.
Yeah,
All because I wanted to be in office.
yeah.
And I still listen to the clowns on Facebook now. Oh, he's a wife beater. He's a
Yeah.
thief. He's this. The only thing I ever stole in my life was when I was about 10 years old. I took an extra lollipop out of the bucket when they said take one. I took two. Outside of that, I gave more of my life than I ever took.
Well, Billy,
Okay?
you're going to be free in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. But going back to Shawn, remember back in the day, when I lived in Revere Heights, the convenience store
Yes.
that Randy's uncle owned.
Yeah.
You had the Pepsi bottle caps underneath it was 2 cents or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got caught.
Yeah.
I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah.
You're right. And Donnie Gibbs said it. No good deed goes unpunished. Hell is paved with all the best intentions. The reality, I guess what I'm trying to say is why Donnie has some faults. He certainly isn't a wicked man like
No,
Billy
he's not.
Keeler.
No, he's not.
He's a fool for making foolish moves.
Yeah.
I've made foolish moves. Everybody in here, including Santa, we made foolish moves. But the guy is not a mean-spirited trying to, destroy your life like Keeler, McDonald, Breslin,
Yeah.
Cuomo, right? Come on.
Right.
These
Big guy
guys are
is.
ruthless slobs that are out to kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't even think John McDonald's out to kill people. I don't like John, and I think he'll whisper in somebody's ear. I don't think he's got I don't think he's got that killer instinct,
He
right?
doesn't. He's not the mean streak that
I really don't.
Keeler's,
I'm not his
Keeler's
fan.
got the mean streak that I've
Right.
never seen
I'll
in
give
any other man.
That's right. I'll give McDonald some credit. He'll do some
Yeah.
shit and he'll bust your
Yeah.
balls and he'll screw you over and
Yeah.
he'll punch you in the back of the head. He won't hit you while you're looking. But I don't think he's got that mean, vicious Keeler streak like
No.
Keeler's doing right now to the firefighters, right?
Yeah.
Firefighters stuck
agree.
up for their own jobs. The firefighters are sticking up for the citizens, and now they're going to pay a heavy price. Look at the cops have overtime going out the yin yang, right, Billy? DPW
And-
out the yin yang because
And
they
not
need
only
to get.
that, they're
Gonna
very,
change
very
that.
short-handed with the cops. The
And,
police,
and
very short-handed.
yeah, and now they're going to destroy the firemen. And here's the problem. I think we have some strong firefighters, right? I think like when your house is on fire and you need somebody to come and help you, there's some good guys in that fire department. But they are a bunch of cowards when it comes to running a union. And now you got a new union president who I think would sell his left nut for another promotion and all your nuts included, okay?
Brian Drycoat.
Yes, I mean, I bet, look at some of these people wouldn't even be able to take the garbage out when I was there, okay?
Yeah.
We were a strong union, strong old-time firefighters, tough son of a bitches, man.
Yeah.
Some of these kids today, they wouldn't even let them pick the garbage cans up to throw out the garbage.
Firefighters in your day were bouncers.
Yeah, most of it was. We were either bouncing or we're out drinking at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
These kids are, and I'm not going to say they're not good firemen. And if they're listening, I'm not saying that. I'm
Yeah.
saying you're a weak union bunch, and you better stand up and fight for your shit because they'll steal it away from you, and you'll lose everything that we built for you for 50 years.
That's right.
Everything. We
That's
gave you some of the best benefits. The taxpayers supported those things. Don't let this piece of shit steal them. He's got a $97,000 a year pension, living in a $500,000 house. He looks like he owns Park Place and Broadwalk on the Monopoly board when you go up there. He owns the whole
7
road.
acres.
He's got all the hotels
7
built.
acres, Shawn. 7
Huh?
acres up there.
Yes,
7
he's got
acres.
it all. And he gets to use DPW to mow his grass, for Christ's sake.
Right, 7
And-
acres, and if you call him a clown, you get 20 days suspension.
Yes, and he's he's hurting people. He's going after their jobs. He's a ruthless prick, and I'm telling you, I wanna have a boxing fundraiser with him so bad because I think the guy is a scummy bastard. Out of all the people that has ever run the city, nobody has been as low as that guy.
Well,
Yeah.
from what I hear, we have to contact Matty LeBombard because he's going to be the new recreation director of recreation.
Matty LeBombard?
Yeah, that's the rumor I'm hearing.
I thought his wife was.
No, I'm hearing he is, but I could be wrong. That's just a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, I'm a good friend of Matty's. I love Matty, and if Matty can set up the boxing match for the fundraiser, I'll call him the first day he starts on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the reality is we could raise a lot of money for the kids, and we can accomplish two things at once, right? And sometimes that's the best way to raise money. You get some celebrities. I guess we'd be celebrities.
Just don't let Napier do the promotion, will you?
Well, I wouldn't let Napier do the promotion, and I wouldn't let him in the Senate chambers either.
It's just going to be. It's going to be. The place will be packed.
Yes, I think I think we'd raise a lot of money. I really do. I seen somebody just said Keeler sold his property. I don't believe it's Keeler. I think it's his kid. I think his son may have sold it almost $400,000.
Yeah, well, maybe his kid sold his property because
I heard he was building his house next to his dad.
Right across the street.
Yeah, he's from his father's.
Right across it, because his father, Billy Senior, Mr. Grinch, he bought that large piece of land over right smack across the street.
Yeah, and then he filled it in.
92,000, then filled it all in.
Then he filled it in without a permit. It floods the house next door.
Yeah.
Another, we can do what we want. I got to tell you a funny story. When I bought my house, I was Steve Hennessy actually used to be my friend until he turned into an asshole.
He went to the dark side.
Yeah, he went to the dark side, and now he thinks that the way to build morale is to try to fire everybody. And piece of shit that he's doing. I like to box with him as well. I'm going to have a good 2024. I'm going to get in shape, do some sit-ups, a little boxing, raise some money. But
how about tag team wrestling? Me and you against Keeler and Hennessy.
Yeah, I think we could raise some money there too. We could do the old Jimmy Anvil off the top rope. But that piece of property was a gully, and they filled it in, which means they changed the trajectory of the water.
Yeah.
And now the water flows to the person's house next door. Nobody said a word.
A grading permit for that, which he doesn't.
Let me just tell you a funny story, though. I'm not kidding you. This is the truth. I bought my house, and I wasn't here 3 months. I called up Hennessy. They chopped down a bunch of trees. They leveled out the land. He did a lot of work for me. And I called up the city. I said, I want to do some fill. And they said, you need a grading permit, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So Hennessy says, I got some piles of dirt. I'm just going to dump them on the piece of land. I'll get you the permits, do all the grading as soon as it gets warm out, because it was towards the end of November. So we get all the dirt. He drops it on my land. 2 days later, I get a ticket for $100 in the mail because they said I graded without a permit. And so I called up the city. I go, what are you talking about? All we did is drop the dirt. There's no grading going on up here. And so they come up to look at my house. It was John McDonald that showed up with the code enforcement, the legal attorney, the assessor. There was like 7 of them. I come up here. I said, "Holy shit! Why am I blessed with all of you people on my land?" Because I put some dirt, and I said, "By the way, I ripped up the ticket. I threw it in the garbage." I go, "You can't mail a ticket to somebody. You got to come up here and tell me I did something wrong." So, needless to say, I got the tickets thrown out because they shouldn't have given it to me. But can you imagine that I got a ticket and had all these big players up here at my house to see what I was doing? Yet Keeler fills in a gully.
Yeah.
That the state should be up here wanting to know how he just changed the whole dynamics of the
He
land and how
required the state stormwater permit
yeah,
for that, and he never got it.
he never got it.
And because he's so high up on the ladder, he's untouchable. I
Yeah,
know, yeah, because I know these people. The
yeah.
woman's name was Mary Berry. Believe it or
Well,
not.
Mary Berry's a fairy canary that didn't do shit to help out
Didn't do
Harry.
her job.
That's
You know why? Because
that's what happened.
once he started filling it all off, he sectioned it off, right? This piece to this relative, this so so what happened is he ended up they ended up saying, well, he sold this off, but it was him who filled it all in. Okay,
Yeah, they were morons, and they were just trying to figure out how to help the state police commander without,
that's what it all. This guy here has been so well protected, and he still is. He's so isolated, and you know how he gets away with it all, Sean? He mails
no.
out Christmas cards.
He sends out Christmas cards,
That's
man.
all.
Well,
Well,
hey, listen.
let's. I know you guys want to end, but let's. I got the fireman hat on now. Let's talk about the fireman, Tommy Fife.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, he's being threatened that he should not, get sworn in, but
Yeah,
I think it's horse shit.
it's
yeah,
all bullshit.
He's entitled to the position because he was elected by the people, and
yeah.
Yep.
if they try to force him out and they have an election next year, guess what? My address is going to be 97 Hudson Ave.
Yeah. Well, well, here,
First off,
listen,
they're not going to succeed.
here's the
Okay?
reality, right?
They're not going to
These
succeed.
pompous bastards think
Yeah.
that they have more power and more rights than the elected people of this city, right? They got away with changing the political lines with no input from the people who make the
Yeah.
decisions. Right. And they did it so brazenly that they walk around pounding their chest like they were successful. All they did is rob the people who weren't educated enough to know that process belonged to them.
Yeah.
It belongs to the people. It's the one political process that truly belongs to the people, that they have a say, that they should be able to hear what's going on and speak up. But fast forward, that's over with. Tommy wins. And now what you have is, you have Keeler, who thinks him and Billy McCarthy somehow have the right to tell the guy he can't run. Here's what I would tell you. If they think he can't run and hold that position, then let them say, hey, the people voted in. We're not going to do nothing, but we'll ask for legal opinions as to whether or not you can run or not. And if we don't believe you should be there, we're going to take it to court and we're going to pay money and we're going to try to throw you out. And let the people see them clowns do that, right? And then let the court decide. Why should Tommy worry about them or spend his money or worry about anything? He's a full-time firefighter.
Take his medical away, which
He's a
they
full-time
can't.
firefighter protected by a union, and he's a elected
Collective
official.
bargaining agreement.
I did it for 15 years.
Yeah, he's got a collective bargaining agreement. They can't touch that. And bottom line, look at Alicia. If you're listening, okay, go read section C2-5 of the code that you voted for only 2 years ago. And what that basically says is, look at if your position is vacated as anything that occurs in the charter and causes you to be vacated or removed, you can't come back. Or you can't get reappointed. And you
Right.
know what that means? And it says that right in the code. You know what that means? What if anything were to happen to Fife, and nothing's going to, the bottom line is the charter calls for an election every 4 years. And the odd year, Alicio lost his elections, therefore he was removed by the people, and he can't come back. And that's it.
Yeah, I don't, Timmy, I don't know if that's what that says. I don't
That's
believe.
what it does say.
Well, I don't believe that's even legal either. If the guy the guy
Probably
can run,
not.
the guy can because the guy can run 100 times.
Yeah.
There's no rule. Look at
I'm just
Alicio.
telling you what the charter says. It's in
But
there.
then here's the problem with the charter and everybody else. Everybody comes up with an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody has an opinion on what the shit means nothing because
Bottom
it
line
has.
is it's all ambiguous, Shawn, and you know
Right.
it.
It's again,
all
you're going to have an
ambiguous.
opinion, and so ain't the cat lady, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's got a freaking opinion.
yeah,
Here's what I'll tell you I don't have an opinion. I read what it says in one section. You can't hold two offices. And
and
here's the
that's
title of offices. And
yeah,
one of them is not a firefighter.
right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Outside
So,
of that, I don't know what all the other shit means because everybody uses it for their own advantage.
yeah,
That's why it's gray. So
yeah.
you could pay a Brian
So
Kremer to make the decision for you.
yeah. So he doesn't hold two offices. They can't touch his medical or his health benefits because it's collective bargaining.
Right.
So he's got no problems. He's just got to stop letting these people try to scare him.
Listen, I'm going to close with this,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to close with the fact that the firemen better stand up and get
Yep.
some kahunas and fight for themselves because if these kids that work up there think that this guy isn't going to eat them alive, they're
Yeah.
out of their mind.
Yep.
And if they're afraid to fight every little grievance, then they ought to get rid of the union. Pack
Yeah.
it in.
Yeah.
Go be a volunteer fireman somewhere else. Don't worry about being a paid firefighter with all these benefits because if they're stealing them away from you, what freaking good are you?
Yeah.
What good is your
You're
union?
going to lose them anyway.
Stand up and fight for your rights. Don't be afraid of this son of a bitch. We fought everybody for the last 50 years.
That's true.
Stand up, fight for your rights, and don't be pushed around. You run into burning buildings to save people's lives and you're afraid of this clown down in City Hall?
Yeah.
Collectively stand up. If you get on each other's shoulders, you're 9 foot tall. He's not 9 foot tall. Fight the good fight.
Yep.
Protect your benefits. Don't let them push you around. Don't be a coward. Be strong firefighters, IAFF, New York State firefighters, local 2562. I know you changed the local number, but 2562 was a kick-ass union who fought. Whatever the number you have now, 97, doesn't seem to be such a kick-ass union. So you better get your shit together because if you don't, you're going to really regret it.
We're going to lose.
Besides that, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas because we ain't going to have a
Merry
podcast
Christmas here.
before
Yep.
Christmas. We're going to take a little time off to revamp and get our shit together
And Santa,
and to come back bigger, better, and stronger.
Billy,
Billy.
I wish you could have got a card for Christmas.
Eh,
All people.
Billy, let me just say on behalf of all the people, Cohoes, thank you for your service. Thank you for having the kahunas to fight the good fight. Don't be sad that they all ganged up on you because you know what? You're on the podcast with a guy who got the shit kicked out of him worse than you'll ever know, deeper than you'll ever know. That lingers on for the rest of my life for shit I never done. But I wouldn't take one thing back.
Yeah.
I'm going to
So thank you for your service.
Well,
And
thank
Timmy,
you for that.
thank you for everything that you do and having the courage to fight the good fight on behalf of the people of Coast. Donnie, thanks for joining the show. Everybody else who sent us messages, thank you for joining the show. And
Yep.
God bless you. Merry Christmas. And I'll see you at the boxing fundraiser as soon as Santa Claus figures out how to put it together. Until
Yeah,
then, Merry Christmas.
Very nice.
And I want to give it a big rap to Go Eagles in the NFC East.
Screw you.